Hey guys, I'm gonna walk you through how I'm gonna install my dash cam. I'm gonna semi-hardwire it into the battery. I'm just gonna take it off so I can show it to you. This is the one that I got. It's I don't know how to pronounce that. COAU. It's made in China. I got it on Amazon. Put a link below so you can check it out. It's got some pretty good reviews. I got this one for a couple reasons. Mainly, it's a touch screen, so I can watch the videos on it. Obviously not while I'm driving, but let's say something happened, I can immediately click the button, lock the video, and then play it back on the screen itself, which I'll show you later. It also comes with a reverse cam, so that not only can I record things that are going on behind me, but also I can plug it in and wire it to the reverse tail light. So when I put it in reverse, I get a display up on the mirror, so I sort of can see what I'm backing into, because I like to back into parking spaces, and so that'll be helpful for that reason. And I've been driving around with it for the past week, and it's pretty good. I like it so far. I haven't had any issues with it. Just still trying to figure out all the different settings for it. You can do security settings, so when you're parked, the camera is not necessarily powered, but it's got a battery inside of it, so if something hits your car, or if something's moving in front of your car, it'll kind of record that little clip, and then you can review it later. Yeah, and it just kind of has these little rubber attachments. We'll see how long these things last. I don't plan on taking it on and off quite a bit, but these don't seem like they would handle a lot of removing, but we'll see. I don't plan on using it or pulling this off much, so maybe they'll last a while if I just leave them alone. So that's it pretty much on that. It just kind of attaches to your regular rear view mirror. I've already run the cord through this trim. Basically, I just kind of pulled it down and pushed the cord in the back of it all through here, and that's what this cord is right here. There goes the instruction manual. So yeah, it's a 12-volt cigarette lighter adapter, DC adapter, that I've been just plugging it into the power port down here. But I use this power port to charge my phone, and I've got another one that I could use for this as well, but I actually use it for my seat heater, which is an aftermarket seat heater. It's these little guys right here. It actually works really well. Put a link for that down below as well, because I think that's a great product. My heater doesn't heat up super well. I know Jeep heaters are supposed to be good, but having the seat heater really makes up for that. I don't even feel like it's that cold in the cab of the Jeep when it's freezing outside. So yeah, recommend the seat heater, but not the point of this video. So what I'm going to do with this is I've bought another cigarette lighter adapter, and I'm just going to kind of tuck it back here in this little corner. And I've already pushed the wire through. There's a little foam hole. It's filled with foam. It's a hole that goes all the way into the engine. I've got other wires coming through that already. Like these wires are for the dual battery setup, and these wires are for the switch panel over there for the off-road lights. And so it was pretty easy for me to just feed this wire through. But if it's your first time, what I would recommend is getting a big stick, or even like a rod, like a thin rod, and just kind of poking through that. Maybe even tying the wire to the end of it and then pulling it all the way through, which is how I did it the first time. Anytime after that, I've kind of just shoved it through with a stick that I've found around here. And yeah, so those are all hanging there. I could just wire it directly, cut the end of this off, wire it directly into that, but I wanted to use this to plug into it, and then just leave it plugged in here, or tucked away back here, just in case, for the off chance that the camera breaks, I need to send it back, or I want to get a different type. Maybe I don't like this one a few months from now, we'll see. But that way I can just unplug it, pull everything out, and then plug the new one in. Just kind of makes it a little bit easier. In my mind, who knows, maybe it's not, but for now that's what we're going with. Okay, so here we are in the fuse box. What you want to do is find an accessory fuse outlet, and on mine anyways, this is a 2010 Jeep Wrangler JK. It's M6 and M7 are accessory power outlets, number 1 and number 2. And so I've located M7 right here where this little green fuse is, and then M6 is actually where this other green one is right there. So they're pretty close to each other. I am going to use one of those, probably M7, and I'm gonna take the fuse off of the M6 one and use it because I don't have another 20 amp fuse because I'm unprepared, like most times. So yeah, I've got a fuse tap. It was in my pocket the whole time. So I just went and bought this fuse tap. I had another one, but it was the wrong size. I needed the smaller one because these are smaller fuses. So what you want to do, I'm going to pull this fuse out and place that into here, and then pull this one out and place it in the top one, like so. And then eventually that's just going to plug in there, but first what I want to do is attach the wire. Let's try this again. Just going to connect the fuse tap to the wire here. Gonna crush it down. Seems secure. So that's going to go in there when I'm all done. And I got to create a ground for with the plug. Alright, so that one's on there. I'm just going to melt this around it using a lighter. This is a shrink wrap. That way it looks pretty and semi well done. And, I'm the one that did it, and it's not super great, but I think it's gonna work. Okay, so that's still hot. Shouldn't touch that. I'm gonna do the end of it later, but for now, I'm gonna connect this wire to here. Put that into there. I know you guys like step by step, so just letting you know. Oh man, let's do that. Wrong hands. Okay. I think we got that. Crunch that down. Not fucking it up. These types of projects usually take me a few tries. Feels pretty secure. I'm just gonna melt this over on here as well, like I did on the last one, without burning my fingers. Hot, don't touch it. Learned that it's nice to have a bunch of accessory parts because I tend to mess things up the first time around and have to do it a second or third time. And so if you're like me, it's great to have a bunch of extra stuff. Trim that down a beat. I'm just creating, I'm putting a little loop on the end so that I can ground it to this bolt down here. And if you've got a Jeep, you know what I'm talking about, you can look and see those bolts. Clamp it down real good like. Make sure it's nice and secure. And then do the melting thing. Oh, okay. I've had this lighter forever. I keep waiting for it to go out. I don't really use it for much, except for camping, things like this. Alright. So I've got a little socket here, just to unscrew this bolt down here for the ground. It is a 13/32 bolt, which, if you like the metric system, which I do, this makes no sense. 13/32. It's a little bit more confusing, but whatever, it's what I got. If you get down here and look, you'll see that these little bolts have some wires connected to them for a ground. I'm not going to bring the camera down here because it's kind of tight. Basically, you just put that on, screw the bolt back on. Okay, we're just going to feed it up into this little pocket here. Ground goes to the side there. Main one goes to the center one. Just going to use some electrical tape to wrap it all up. Try not to pull too hard on any of these wires so they don't come undone, but I'm just going to wrap it all up like so. Hopefully it works and I don't have to undo all this. Okay, just plugged the fuse tap into the fuse box. Moment of truth, let's see if it works. So I'm just going to plug this in, get my keys here, listen for it. Boom, it works. We have power. Cool, so I'm just gonna tuck these away all nice and neat, get some zip ties, zip them all to these wires, and then put this panel back on, and then I'll show you some of the features of the camera itself, or the touchscreen. So, final version, I've got the wire going from the fuse tab, which is right here in the fuse box, coming out the back. Had to extend it a bit because it wouldn't reach with the previous extension. I've zip tied all these other wires. These other wires are going to the dual battery relay, and then they're going to all go through there. Let's take a look in here. Now I've zip tied all this together, and I'm just going to tuck that in to there, and hopefully I can get the panel back onto it. Okay guys, I finally got both cameras installed, finalized, all tucked away. So I'm going to show you what I did with the rear camera, because I've already shown you what I did with the front camera, but my cord was long enough to reach there. The tail light on the passenger side is where I've mounted it. I thought about mounting it under here, but my cord wasn't reach all the way and I didn't want to extend it, and that does just fine. So let's walk through how I did it. So just like with the first one, with the front camera, I tucked the cord up under here, ran it through around in here, pushed it back in there. I've got it going right down in here, pushed it through all of this trim, did it for the back seat as well. And pull this back, this is the cord, and I just kept pulling the carpet back and then feeding it all the way in the back over there. What I had to do, oh, it's dusty. You can pull this little rubber piece out, and then I just fished it through there. It took a little bit of effort because this was all taped up, and the plug for the camera is actually pretty, or it's wider than these wires, so it took a bit of effort to fish it through. And what I ended up doing was just rolling this bottom part up and over the plug for the camera, and then tucked it all in. Found the wire for the reverse light, pops out. So I found that this little white wire right there is the reverse light, and the black one is probably the ground. And this red wire comes from the camera. Already pre-installed red wire attached to it from the factory for the camera. And then what I wanted to say was this little clamp right here basically connects both of the wires together without having to cut it, and that was included with something that I bought. Fortunately I had it, and then had to clamp down really tight on it to make sure I got a connection. Tested it out, put it in reverse, camera came on, bada bing bada boom, it worked. Okay, now here we are in the cab of the Jeep. I wanted to show you a little bit about the camera. Here's the rearview mirror. This is the attachment on top of the stock rearview mirror that is the dash cam. You'll see on the back side here, this is the camera. This is the old stock rearview mirror. These are the cords going up to it. And if you look, we got a touch screen here. So what that's showing is the front camera. You can also look at both the rear and the front, and also just the rear. And then when we put it in reverse, boom, it comes up, rear view. It's a little weird just because of the angle, but I'm really just going to use it mostly for someone hits me. So take it out of reverse, and then we've got different settings. We can do security guard, we can do gravity sensor, audio, motion detection. It's got a date and time stamp. Can adjust the resolution. We can do a dual camera, which is both cameras on recording at the same time. We can cycle the time between 3, 5, and 10 minutes, and that just really, when you lock a video, it just records for 3, 5, or 10 minutes, depending on what you prefer. We got the settings here with the front camera, the rear camera. This is where the files would be, and I can go in here and, oh, look at all these files. Okay, so that must have been when I was playing around with it. Let's see, let's watch a video here. This is from when I was driving to work the other day, listening to a podcast. So we'll just go ahead and stop that, go back. Let's see, it's from earlier today, I think. Oh, that was when I was parked. I was parked at O'Reilly's getting some parts to do this install. Cool. And then I can select all these and delete them because this was not intentionally recorded. Like I said, still trying to figure out all the settings. Oh, there's a lot more. Just gonna delete all these. And it's nice that I can do it on the screen here without having to unplug the camera and plugging it into the computer. See if I had video from, oh, there's video from today with the rear camera. Something was going on. I need to adjust the settings so that it doesn't record all of this stuff unnecessarily. But we go in there and delete it all. Boom, boom, boom. Go back to home. Can adjust more settings here. Tells you about the version. You can restore all the settings to default, change the languages, turn the key sounds on and off, auto power off, screensaver, format the SD card, etc., etc. Yeah, so just wanted to show you a little bit about the camera itself. So there you have it.